What's up, hunters? We're doing She-Hulk episode 4, and we're doing that coming up next. Welcome back to Winter Wolf's Den, guys. We're touching on She-Hulk episode 4 today, just released on Disney+. I have my notes assembled here and ready to... Oh, fuck it. This show's fucking retarded, guys. Let me just give you the quick breakdown and get the fuck out of here, because I can't take much more of this. And this episode is extra disappointing for me, because it did actually have a couple of moments where I think they netted the character true to her core of who she was supposed to be. But because nobody in Hollywood actually has a fucking sense of humor, they can't let us laugh across the board, you know, on an even playing field. They had to ruin humor and then try to reintroduce it on their own terms. And I'll get to that. I'll get to that as I go, because that's kind of really what pissed me off about this episode. I haven't been this fired up about a bad episode of this show yet, but when they gave me a glimpse of something that I thought could have been funny in a different world under different circumstances, it really annoyed me that they've taken this away from the viewers at large here. You got a dual plot line in this episode again. Both of them are fucking dumb. There's very little setup or payoff to any of it. The attorney at law bullshit this week is a former high school dropout of the mystic arts is still using his sling ring. What they consider funny stuff happens, and then Wong needs Jen Walters to sue this guy and to stop using the mystic arts, like on a copyright violation. They think this is funny, like whatever, not funny. And then it wasn't the Daredevil episode like I thought it was going to be this week. It's actually the Tinder episode. So we're going to get into a whole separate set of issues that run down there. The plot breakdown is pointless. We get some not funny setup scenes with Jen and her paralegal at the bar. She gets hit on by yet another total character of the world's biggest douchebag, fake Chad on the planet.
Excuse me, ladies. I hate to see two stunning women sitting all alone.
Like, every single guy in this world is an a-hole. And I asked female friends, I asked female members of my family if they know guys like this, and none of them say they deal with these people on an everyday basis. And it wouldn't be so bad, really, if they wanted to play every guy on this show as being this kind of dickhead. But the problem is it always comes with no reciprocity for any of the women being equally as, vacuous or vapid. Although in this particular episode, and this is the part that pissed me off up front, they do introduce a typical airhead fucking brunette character. And I'm like, but you guys can't even get that right, because now that you've introduced this character, you further undermined the message that you were sending at the beginning about women being able to be taken seriously and being, safe in public spaces and, being allowed to be themselves and this and that. It's like, what are you trying to tell us as the viewer? Like, I don't get it. You flip-flop back and forth about what you want me to think of the female characters on your show, and it just doesn't add up. And as far as Jen goes, they did the twerking bullshit last week, but we're going to get into some bullshit with her that comes up in the Tinder portion of the episode a little bit later. But once again, they go down the road of the cameo game. Like, you're going to break fourth wall and tell me this isn't going to be a cameo show, but you've built an entire fucking episode around Wong. Like, did you get him at a fucking discount? Is the actor not doing anything? Like, is there nothing else he can be doing except being stuck on this show? Like, dude, I feel sorry for you if that's all Marvel's letting you do, because people genuinely like Wong. But they have to go ahead and take the piss out of him on this one too by giving him a stupid ass nickname from the most stupid ass character in MCU. Like, no, stop. Like, stop ruining these fucking characters. It's embarrassing. We get to the Tinder stuff, and it's as expected. She puts together a little profile as Jen Walters, and she has her little pantsuit on and her profile pic, and she's all very plain Jane and not smiling in the picture and shit, and doesn't get a whole lot of return on that profile. But when the paralegal talks her into doing up a profile as She-Hulk, of course it's bloop, 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 and she's getting mad hits. And just real quick on the hypocrisy of America's ass, can you guys imagine for 2 seconds if Tony Stark had a picture of Black Widow's ass on her phone? Like, no, because we can't have guy characters doing stuff like that anymore. But once again, here, it's okay for the main female character to get away with that. So no, the show it's not pulling off the fight the patriarchy bullshit when their entire arsenal is based on hypocritical bullshit. It just doesn't work. Scheduling multiple dates at a night, which is its whole separate issue again. Like, you can only make can only make the joke that like men are all men are dogs if the same standard applies to your character too, and they don't. So Jen Walters is allowed to behave a certain way in the dating scene, but guys can't. You know, guys have to be one way, but she's allowed to be whoever she wants to be. And it's just kind of, it's pathetic to see them write her out that way when it's inconsistent with the rest of their messaging. And these pinheads probably don't know that in the print runs of She-Hulk that she's always been kind of out there with the guys and she enjoys her femininity and dating and sex and things like that. But we weren't allowed to have that character through 4 episodes. We weren't allowed to have Jen Walters being Jen Walters as she is in the comics through 4 episodes. They're dropping it on you now after they've already gaslighted and lectured everybody into not thinking that behaving any of those ways is funny, when the rest of us are like, yeah, it's probably not funny in real life, but in a TV show or in a movie, like old school comedies, like bad behavior is funny because we know it's not appropriate. That's the fucking joke. That's the punchline. But they don't get that shit. The case in point example, she goes on, 3 or 4 dates in, the period of a night. The first dude being some alpha Chad douche nozzle, to some other dude that's on his phone the entire time that stares at chicks that are walking by her and then sticks her with the fucking check. It's kind of dumb. She ends up on a couple of dates with a couple of betas that are embarrassing. In characters, although they were probably the smallest characters and might have been a little true to form of meeting a superhero. But it was just, there's no normal fucking people on this show. Like, it's not fun to watch. And the one guy that we saw in the original trailer from way back that she's picking up off the couch.
Tell me about you.
Oh.
Also, should we split some fries?
Yeah, let's get those to go.
It's a guy that she meets. They're 10 minutes into a first date. He gives the stupid ass, should we split an order of fries line, and they bail. She's all over him in her apartment trying to get him right where she needs him, and then fucking Wong shows up for the She-Hulk cock block, pulls her away to actually do some She-Hulk shit, which was appreciated. Like, it's about fucking time, 4 episodes into this show, that she gets to be She-Hulk and has to help Wong do some superhero shit. I said this to my brother the other day. I'm gonna get some fucking t-shirts made. I just want to see superheroes doing superhero shit. Registered trademark. But even that, it's kind of, they go through the motions of giving her stuff to do. She slaps around a couple little demons while Wong fixes a portal that the initial jackass dropout of the Mystic Arts had opened up during one of his magic shows. And it's all kind of resolved with like no stakes, with no additional storylines or beats being utilized to set up or attach it to like the larger plot going down the line.
No.
To nothing.
And when she gets back into the fucking apartment, the portal that Wong sends her through basically drops her on top of this dude on the couch, where then she just scoops him up and baby carries him into the bedroom. That if the genders were reversed here, there'd be a fucking Me Too movement all over this bitch. So we're just gonna have to like coin this the Him Too movement or something, because she didn't obtain his consent to carry him to bed. But like, you gotta run with it. And if it was the fucking 90s, people would have been able to laugh at that in and of itself as kind of a funny reversal of like the roles in that kind of scene. But you clowns ruined humor already. It's you guys that did it. It wasn't us. You guys already told us that stuff's serious, even though it's fiction, even though 99.9999% of people know that shit's wrong, and and that's just not how it works anymore. But you guys sent you set the tone and sent that message, and now we're all stuck with not being able to laugh at this kind of shit.
Thanks for nothing.
And then, of course, case in point, to put her back in the position of fucking victim, when she gets up the next morning and she's back to being Jen, she's making breakfast, she's getting text messages from the paralegal character, wanting the dirty deets as they call them, and she's kind of excited that she had herself a fun little night. This dude wakes up and realizes she's not She-Hulk, she's back to Jen Walters, and is like, so who are you? And then like he just bails on her and doesn't stick around. And I'm like, okay, so we're led to believe that she's the victim in this situation because she brought a dude home, had her way with him, and then when she wasn't who she put herself out there to be, and wasn't She-Hulk in the morning, and he bailed and didn't want anything to do with her, he's the a-hole. And I just don't see it that way. Like, this isn't a question of, he saw her without her makeup. Like, he was attracted to the being he saw in the Tinder profile. And then you weren't that, and you weren't forthcoming about that. And you didn't, show him that other form the night before before the after party, so to speak. So no, I don't feel bad for you being any kind of victim in that moment kind of thing. There's a couple other gripes that I have here too. We're 4 episodes into this show of a 9-episode run, and there's no larger scale plot development at all. We don't get any follow-up on the guys that jumped her from the previous episode about who they were working for, to what end, or who might have been behind it. We get no relationships developed between Jen and anybody at her firm, including the other female lawyer that we saw last week, who kind of came in and came out when Bukowski was trying to hire them. Like, so she's not working with any kind of conflict in the office. She doesn't have anybody challenging her there. Her family doesn't appear to be a challenge. Her father shows up for like a minute early on doing kind of goofball, 80s dad stuff that was all right. But she's not developing in any kind of meaningful way that's kind of germane to like her core character values or the story they should be telling with their limited time. Because once again, you get a Disney Plus offering on this one. The runtime is something like 37 minutes, and after the 6.5 minutes of credits and the standard 2 minute of intro, we're cut down to right around a half hour. They do work in a stupid credits post-credits scene in this one too, but it's Wong and the fucking airhead eating snacks on a couch or something. We're not setting up the next episode. It's not a true stinger in the original Marvel sense. It's just them hanging out. The trial procedure here is fucking retarded. Like, we get Jen arguing on Wong's behalf about the copyright violation on the use of mystic arts from a has-been, never was, dropout student of Cameos. And her argument is that, the magic in the wrong hands is a dangerous thing. The judge in this case says, I don't see how a magic trick can be dangerous. And I had to sit back and pause the episode at this point and be like, this is a world post-Avengers. This is a world post-Guardians of the Galaxy. This is a world post-Doctor Strange. Like, we know aliens and space travel and magic and superheroes are real. The fucking lawyer is a superhero. Who is a superhero. Who's performing her duties as a lawyer, as the She-Hulk. But you don't think magic can be dangerous? It's just fucking dumb. And the setup for that entire story, now that I think of it, is dumb too. If Wong's issue with this dropout dude was he was doing magic, why did you let him take the fucking sling ring? Why didn't you portal over there to the show where you knew he was, because this had been an ongoing annoyance issue with you, Wong, and take the damn thing? You're the Sorcerer Supreme. This dude works at like a fucking comedy club performing for 15 people a night. Like, it doesn't make any narrative sense. It doesn't make any character sense. It's just bad. While we're in the courtroom, this is on all the guys being characters. You got the Mystic Arts dropout, his lawyer, and his manager or his agent, and the 3 of those guys are buffoons in different ways. Total characters of people. None of them are funny. There's no deliverable punchlines anywhere that I can see. And it's just like, I don't understand. If you had the courage to let her be the Tinder episode She-Hulk, where she's going out on dates and meeting dudes and enjoying herself, you could have just had that from the rip and brought people in with like the lewd sense of like humor that the character's kind of famous for in print. But you wanted a fucking grandstand, and now you're gonna bring that in halfway through? Dude, it just seems like a bunch of self-inserts from the writers. Like, honestly, it feels like there's a fucking therapy session going on with the people in the writer's room, but we're all stuck on the hook for the fucking copay. And it's just gotta stop. Like, figure out what kind of show you want to be, She-Hulk, and then just fucking be that, for better or worse. But you don't get to throw a fucking curveball halfway through your run after you already told me that this kind of stuff wasn't funny. I'm not looking forward to episode 5 at all. Like, they don't have enough time left to redeem themselves after these first 4 episodes, and it's too fucking bad, because there was a flash here when they actually let her behave a little bit like She-Hulk that I wanted to like, but I couldn't because of the setup you gave me through the first 3 episodes. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for stopping by.